New Zealand, India, and now South Africa. No, they're not part of the same group, but yes, they are forming a group of their own, which is called the group of victors.
Oh, nice.
That's what they're called right now. So that you gave me that look. Was that?
I mean,
First of all,
I thought you was mentioning the 4 semi-finalists.
No, man, I was a little scared. But, actually I thought that maybe, he just had a brilliant meal, scrumptious meal.
Yeah, really.
Which is why I like to keep myself energetic by not having anything just before this live. But then
Once again, he wants the credit now.
again, no, but the credit should be
Credit
given.
stealer.
Of course. But the main credit stealer here is South Africa.
And they're
With any
deserved.
Oof. We thought that in this group, Afghanistan looked to be the proper deal.
You guys had them in your top 4?
Yes.
Not me.
I actually had them as my semi-finalists.
You see?
But
I'm
now
not surprised by what I saw today. People were talking a lot about South Africa again not being up to the mark, and Afghanistan really having the firepower to challenge a couple of teams, including in England and Australia, who they will be playing in the times to come. But the one thing with South Africa is, their pace battery that's always, impressed me. And the times, people were talking about the time that Afghanistan beaten South Africa, I think, last year.
Yeah, ODI
People
series.
tend to forget the fact that there were a few key players missing in that series. There was no Tabraiz Shamsi, there was no Rabada, there was no Hendrik Klaassen, there was no Rassie van der Dussen either. So while the others, yes, there was a Mark Raum, yes, there were the others that you see in this squad right now, rather in this 11, but otherwise you didn't see the full strength South Africa turn up. And we almost every time make this mistake of not giving South Africa their due.
exactly.
But time and time again, and now they're doing it across formats.
Now, today, I mean, look at it. We've mentioned all the names, but we forgot one guy. Ryan Rickelton. Out of nowhere, on his Champions Trophy debut, he scores a century.
He wouldn't have even played today had Hendrik Klaassen been fit, because he's the backup wicket keeper.
Yes.
And he wouldn't have even
Imagine a South Africa team put on a clinical show against an Afghanistan side who were semi-finalists in 2024 in the T20 World Cup without a Hendrik Klaassen. Without a Hendrik Klaassen, I think he's got an elbow niggle, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Now with this banana skin out of the way for South Africa, I think now they'll be really focused. But again, time immemorial, we have seen South Africa do these kind of things in the league stages when it comes to...
we've seen them. Let's not forget what we saw in 2022.
Yeah.
Then in 2023 as well, they lose to opponents. They lost to Netherlands both the times.
Yes.
So funny things have happened with South Africa in the past. In this group though, the one thing is, they end up losing to teams which are considered relative lightweight, in comparison to them. But this time though, there isn't any lightweight category. There isn't any opponent in the group that you can say comes from the lightweight category.
I mean, if you look at 2024, they almost lost to Nepal.
Yeah.
One run, they almost lost
You
to them.
remember that call, boss? It's time to get up.
Let's not get into that. I want to whitewash that West Indies shift entirely.
See, there is nobody called a mower in the opposite side that can come back to haunt South Africa. So, and there aren't, as I said, any weak teams against whom they end up. Maybe, it's just a psychological thing, or their approach isn't good. Today, though, if you thought that, you would take Afghanistan to be one of those teams that would be comparatively weaker, but that wasn't the case. What South Africa were today is in fact, what you were expecting from the Indian team yesterday, to be clinical. They weren't as clinical as South Africa. Maybe, of course, the pitch played a part over here, and you didn't allow Afghanistan, beg your pardon, to settle at any moment. Yes, there was a resurrection of sorts. There was a counter punch that came from Remacha, but half the match was lost by then.
True.
See, today what worked for South Africa? The way how they tackled the spinners.
True.
In the past, in these kind of conditions, you are caught out by the spinners. Especially that's why they were troubled in India, right? In the semi-final, you kind of had a struggle against Stark and Hazelwood also, along with Cummins. But you also lost wickets to Travis Head, an off spinner. That is why in these kind of conditions, the way how they tackled Rashid, the way they tackled Noor, the way how they tackled Nabi, it was simply magnificent. Ryan Rickelton, that's why. You remember, Gulati, I was saying we should play a Rassie van der Dussen.
Yeah.
It is because of this factor. He can play in these situations pretty well. Aidan Markram's 50 also was simply remarkable when you look at it.
Yeah.
So that is why these three players got you a 300 plus score, and the way underrated. Can you just go down and see what
South
is it?
Africa's
Yeah.
Scorecard.
Scorecard. I mean, look at it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Look at it. 58 from Bavuma. Let's not forget. Even
Yeah,
Temba
that's it.
Bavuma. Yeah. Temba Bavuma got a good score. Which is why your top order
Hey, look at the
collectively
entire
fired.
middle order,
No, but-
everyone contributing. Even David Miller got a bit of a start,
Yeah.
wasn't able to come up good. But look at Bavuma, Van Dussen, Markram. Again, these are quality players against spin. That's the one thing you know about them. And
I think
they came very good.
One
today.
of my predictions has actually come true, and no one pointed it. There's no Tristan Stubbs, and I was the only one who said that he is not going
I
to feature.
remember.
He is not going to feature, yes.
Yeah,
But then I
remember.
think, see,
You cannot leave out Rassi. He is your
Can't.
ODI legend as of now.
you can't leave out.
Yeah.
Although I would be tempted if Tony De Zorzi is
I
left
think he's
out.
going to miss out, and Ryan Rickelton will play.
Rickel, but then how will you get in Heinrich Klaassen then? Who's your other opener?
Tony Day. So basically, Ryan Rickelton opens with Temba Bavuma.
Temba Bavuma.
Possible.
Then you can get in a Stubbs and play Heinrich Klaassen also.
Yeah. See, actually, if you
No,
see
sorry, who are the two people you're taking out? Tony De Zorzi and
only one.
Only one.
I'm going to keep only one out. My point here is that if you look at South Africa's today's 11, I think almost everyone batted out of their position. Bavuma usually opens. Rassi bats at number 3. Markham is usually their incumbent number 4. Miller 5 or 6, depending upon where they want to have Klaassen. So I think it's going to be a straight swap with Klaassen coming in for Tony De Zorzi. That's the thing. And if Klaassen is not fully fit to even keep stumps, keep wickets behind the stumps, but I think you can probably continue with Ryan Rickelton. But two things I have a feeling that can probably inferred from this Afghanistan's show here is that one, obviously, I think there were a lot of fielding slip-ups. Their fielding wasn't up to the mark at all. You saw during the 2023 ODI World Cup and the T20 World Cup in USA and Caribbean, their fielding was top-notch apart from their spin and pace bowling. That is one thing I think that's a big letdown as far as Afghanistan are concerned. It's a very ordinary show by them.
Look at, I mean, it's highlighted by Fazlullah Farooqi's one dive, you remember, in that long on region.
Absolutely.
Just allowed the ball to go through.
Very nice.
And Fazlullah Farooqi also was not fully fit, by the way.
True. And let's just go down, Sankalp. Secondly, I think if we just go back to the ODI World Cup in India and the T20 World Cup, one of the major reasons why Afghanistan were able to grab a couple of good wins or those big wins was because of Ramanullah Gurbaz giving a good start. And look at what has happened today. He did not really get off to a start. There was too much
I take
pressure
you guys,
on Rahmat Shah.
to the point. I remember when we were doing SWOT analysis and I didn't pick Afghanistan to make it past the group stage. I remember saying one thing, that when the top two don't fire, they struggle, and that's what happened today. Look at that. Your opening partnership lasted all of 15 runs. You lost your second wicket at 38 and third for 50.
50 for 4, you are done.
In fact, you see both your openers were back in the hut by 38, and this was what? Just the 10th over.
By the fag end of the power play.
Exactly. Today, yes, Rahmat Shah came good by the time that he came out to bat. However, this is, in fact, let me point out a very interesting stat that I remember from the 2023 World Cup that took place in India, where you were talking about middle over contributions. I think 800 odd runs that came from the Afghanistan middle order were the least from all participating teams.
It was, yes.
So that is how badly they are hurt in terms of contributions from the middle order. If they get a good start, yes, everyone sort of goes along, but a huge percentage of runs come from the top two, and when they don't fire, and this is the problem, and this is where T20 cricket is different from ODI cricket. ODI cricket, you need somebody to take the responsibility and you need pieces to come together. Afghanistan are used to following a certain template. Okay, runs at the top and everyone then chips in a bit. However, that the one time that they lose the top two, they don't know how to go about their business. So this is something which we've seen with them. We saw this in the World Cup as well, and we saw that today as well. However, funny things have happened in the past, especially with South Africa. Miracles can happen. It's not like they're down or not. The one thing though that's happened with them is that the net run rate has taken a huge hit. Now, if there is another team out there, it could be South Africa, it could be any other team that goes on to win the next two matches but lose one, like they have today, then it'll get very difficult for them to come out of this negative net run rate that they've now copped.
Exactly. See, South Africa's one major flaw, net run rate, that has been eradicated.
As of now,
because see, 2021.
Sadar, quick question for you. Sorry to cut you short. What are the chances of them meeting rain subsequently?
See, where let's just click on South Africa, that arrow. Click on that arrow that is there. No, not
towards
there.
the right.
Towards your right.
Towards your right.
This one, yeah. you are taking on Australia and England, and I think on all those days, you are not playing in Rawalpindi when you look at it. Rawalpindi has got rain for a week, at least for 4-5 days it's there. I think in that period, you're not playing them. Unless that is the case, then I think South Africa are okay with it. I think they are fine. They just need to win on 25th. Then they're sealed.
Yeah.
Then it'll be
that should be okay. Yeah.
Tomorrow, if Australia beat England, and whoever beats, if Australia beat Afghanistan in their next game also, then I think they're through. So that is why I think this group with this victory now, as I said, Afghanistan are a banana skin.
Yeah.
Whoever slips on that, they will fall down in a big way, and that is why
I would still not count Afghanistan out of this tournament, to be honest. I think despite that 100-run loss, I still don't, I still feel that Afghanistan can defeat England and Australia.
Yep, they can.
I think, and there are, I think reasons to back that up. One is obviously you talk about England here.
Yeah.
No matter England talk all about their baseball approach or the things that have gone, or changed in England cricket, I think baseball hasn't really reaped results. And overall, if you look at talent-wise, England may have better batters than Afghanistan, but Afghanistan's bowling is head and shoulders above England.
You know what's the problem? 25th, Australia, South Africa is happening in Rawalpindi.
And that's also a rain thread.
That is also a rain thread there. But in this case, it could benefit South Africa.
No, it might not.
How?
If they lose their final game, they can still be eliminated.
Yeah.
That's the point.
True, because you don't
lose one
if
game
there's
and you'll
another
be
team out there, let's say Afghanistan, that wins its next two. South Africa have to lose.
See, Afghanistan are taking on Australia then in Lahore.
No, do you remember 2009 Champions Trophy? What happened to India? Lost to Pakistan, rained out against Australia and defeated West Indies.
Yeah, but in that time, see, the problem is that loss to Pakistan really hurt you.
Yeah.
And that is why you never recovered from it. Look at South Africa, yaar. 2021, that one loss that they had to Australia. And they won the other games, but they never recovered. And that is why it's a big problem that you got. So minus 2.1 for Afghanistan. Minus 2.1. It's not looking good at this point. So Rawalpindi might decide. It's a rain threat. For 2 days there you got a rain threat in Rawalpindi. So I hope that it doesn't happen.
And I remember last time, I think last year at this very time only, I did commentary of 2 PSL matches that took place in Rawalpindi, and one of them was a washout.
So Gulati, whenever he's there is always chances of rain.
He just has to make some meaning out of it, which is obviously
Of course, like you say, credit stealer unnecessarily, isn't it? So, but I think South Africa
for a reason.
I think our prediction of Afghanistan now may have to take a revision. By this, because see, why I say immediately, because it's only 3 games. You're done with 1.
It may not be called the ICC knockout trophy anymore, but it gives you that kind of feeling after a heavy defeat.
It does. Because see, Pakistan, if they lose on 23rd, they're gone.
Yes.
And because they lost by 60 runs to New Zealand, even if they win against India.
No, if Pakistan lose on Sunday, they won't be gone. And I'll tell you why.
We'll
obviously, if Pakistan lose on Sunday, we will do a separate scenarios video, because that would mean, let's say, if Pakistan lose on Sunday, they'll have to hope that they beat Bangladesh, and in return, New Zealand lose to both Bangladesh and India. Then it's basically going to be the net run rate.
I know. It's like
Pakistan will not be officially eliminated, assuming they lose on Sunday.
Okay, so it's like Australia getting 20 penalty points for a slow over rate.
That's not really it. No, that's not really it.
Because see, you're assuming that New Zealand, okay, it can happen. But what if there's a rain threat in Rawalpindi?
Then it's a different discussion altogether. Yeah, obviously.
That's it. So, it's not looking good.
If it's heading that way, I know what will be said on social media.
Kudrat ka nizam, which is what I don't want.
2022 T20 World Cup.
Again.
We've heard that before.
Again. Especially, and this will be the first, see, no team has won. No team has gone through to the knockouts without winning a single league game. Okay, it's never happened.
Yes, it has happened in T20 World Cup. England.
Only England has done it, but that was T20s. ODIs, it's never happened. So, see, Afghanistan now will have to really shape up, or they'll be shipped out immediately. And the next encounter is against England, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yes.
We'll have to check. Yeah, 26.
This is where they have a chance. Yes. Lahore might give them the best opportunity because it'll be flat decks. And if they bat well, they can put England under the pump there.
It's also, I think, one of the home grounds of one of the T20 home grounds for Rashid Khan.
Lahore Qalandars.
I think he plays for them.
What's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's captained by.
You know, it's actually not good news if you ask me, them playing in Lahore. Because flat decks, you don't get the kind of purchase that spinners would want. And that's exactly what England batters would delight on.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. He does play for Lahore Qalandars.
Yeah, I think I remember, he played under the leadership of Shaheen Afridi twice, and I also remember a story regarding it that, Lahore Qalandars, they had qualified for a final, but the point is that I think Afghanistan were obviously, playing an international series. There was also a request from Lahore Qalandars that you play that match, we'll send a chopper for you, you can fly here straight away, and then you can play that final also, but I think he denied it.
Oof, look at...
I think, one of the
He
stories
could have
I
taken
remember.
inspiration from what
David Warner.
Yeah.
No, what Dasun Chanaka did a few days back.
But he's under the scanner. But anyway...
But that was outrageous. That I never
know
got to
it
speak
was.
to you about it.
It was very... And that's why rightfully he has been investigated. I think
Yeah,
you
he
can't
is.
do that.
He is.
You can't do that. Yeah, that's...
Two inquiries now. One at the Senegalese club level, and the other is now with the
ILT20 club.
the ILT20 level.
Yeah, so it's not good. This kind of gun for hire situation is not good. But when you look at Afghanistan, they were gunned down by two factors: pace and bounce. The Karachi wicket suddenly became Newlands.
Wyan Mulder was actually looking like a serious threat. He's, no disrespect to him, he's a medium pace bowling all-rounder, but then he was swinging it both ways.
No, but Marco Janssen,
Marco Janssen.
Kagiso Rabada, man, who fire.
Rabada was breathing fire today.
Exactly. That's why they were.
It's actually a little bit of a warning sign if you ask me, because you see such clinical display only from top quality sides.
Yeah.
And of all the 3 wins that we've seen so far, the New Zealand 60-run victory, the India victory by 6 wickets, and now the 100 plus or the 107 run victory today by South Africa, I must say the one convincing of all wins has been today's.
Yes, and so far we have seen only convincing winner. Even in the 2017 Champions Trophy, we saw only one thriller, if I'm not mistaken, right? Pakistan, Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
That was the only thriller.
For us, pretty much.
India also weren't pushed to the limit in most,
Yeah,
except Sri Lanka, where they lost convincingly though. 2013, except the final, did we see any major thriller? You don't get to see thrillers in the league stages of a Champions Trophy.
No,
That's the worst part about it. You did see in 2009, Pakistan, Australia. That was a thriller. Mohammad Asif coming back.
Even Pakistan-New Zealand semi-final was a good game,
But
Grant
that was a
Elliott-
semi-final.
Yeah, but that was a
semi-final.
semi-final.
Yeah. So, Sarthak Arya is like saying ODI should be discontinued or at least reduced to 40 overs. Like how it happened in England, 40 overs per side. Or it can be for 2 innings for both teams. It's very boring.
It was tried in Sheffield Shield, actually.
The Ryobi One Day Cup,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
right. 2
yeah.
innings of 25 and 20 overs. And your lead bowler could bowl as many overs as he wanted.
Correct.
But I think that experiment was also discontinued. But the acid test is on Sunday. If India-Pakistan doesn't get you crowds, please write to the ICC.
I've been reminded of what we saw in Ahmedabad. Remember the tournament opener 2023 World Cup was also there. There weren't enough crowds that had gotten to the stadium. Remember, it was a day start, etc., etc. But what did we say? That let India play. Let the tournament, really get started when India are in action. And what did we see in Chennai? Sell out crowds.
Yeah.
And everything after that was sell out, at least as far as the hosts were concerned. If Pakistan, after such a lull, if they're hosting the first major tournament in 25 years and still they cannot draw crowds, I think it's a damning indictment of where the cricket in the nation then has plummeted to.
Exactly. You're not a test playing power and your tests are not your priority anymore.
You're finishing at the bottom in the World Test Championship.
Pakistan need to be worried. They had one identity as a cricket nation, like how it has gone for hockey for them. They're nowhere. Will cricket also be in the same
Now
situation?
they're a javelin nation, na?
Yes.
Arshad Nadeem,
I hope in some sport they at least establish some repute, because they can't be like Sri Lanka. Their cricket is gone. They have no identity as a sporting nation. That's the problem. So I hope at least they diversify in some other thing altogether. But it's not been a good start for Afghanistan then. So let's take 1 or 2 comments more. And
I think Daniel M had a comment, I remember. Let's just go completely up.
yeah, Daniel M had a comment. Yes.
Yeah, I think he said
Oh,
that
yeah.
South Africa will choke in either the semis or the finals.
True that. True that. Checkmate. India will
All
win.
octopus is sitting here.
Yeah. India will win. Checkmate is saying. India will, if pitches are flat, I don't see Afghanistan even winning a game. They need bit
That's
of.
exactly my fear for Lahore, as I pointed out.
Correct.
Possible.
They need to play in the kind of situation that you played in day before.
Yes.
New Zealand,
Good
Pakistan,
point.
that's the kind of surface that will suit
Correct.
Afghanistan.
Correct. Freaking awesome. This is the last comment we'll take. This is Afghanistan's third ODI in Pakistan. They had played 2 ODIs before in 2008. Although it's a flat pitch, if you don't get used to the conditions, it's not easy. Batters need to spend more time. But I think the scoreboard pressure told on them. And that is why I think it is not a good situation. But it's not a good start for Afghanistan. They're already under the pump. So tomorrow, it is the clash of the Ashes rivals. Australia versus England. Let's see how that goes along. But I think that will throw the whole group wide open. If England beat Australia, then the whole group is thrown wide open then. A depleted Australia with only 6 injuries and many more, who I don't know how much is there. So, yep, Australia, England, but we will be building up to India, Pakistan, which is on Sunday.
Yeah, tomorrow is preview day for us.
Preview day. So, we'll be joining you for that. And from me, Harshad and Sid Gulati, it is Nandri, Vanakkam, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair.
Eat your vegetables.
Don't trouble your mother and stay safe. And we'll be back for more updates on Sports Today. Bye-bye. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the information you'll get not only here, but also from Dubai. Bye-bye.